relaxing, Jorge, mostly because you're back. Because I just can't be allowed to do things on my own because, oh hey, hi, it's me, Wilma, Fingerdoo, Untucked. And it's another week of the girls bitching and moaning and supposing and inferring in the Untucked lounge. So let's get to it. Well, it was Team Vixen that was safe, and it was the Vixen who did a victory lap on her way back to the Untucked lounge. And you know, the one thing I have to say about the Vixen is, the only thing worse than a queen who likes to stir other people's pots is a girl who's got her own pot to stir. I sense a lot of gloating in the future with our Miss Vixen is all I'm saying. That said, all the girls were extra relieved to be safe because it meant that they were going through to week 3. So, rainbow straws for everyone. Seriously, girls, congratulations, all I'm saying. Oh, and can I just say, how gorgeous was Cameron's little butterfly fantasy number? I'm so serious. It was a good week for our muscle queen. Not only did she kill it on the runway, but thanks to the overly opinionated Miss Alyssa Edwards, Cameron didn't fade into the background with all those big personalities. Because of the big performance, Alyssa was able to pull out of Cameron. It's not the first thing I think Cameron's had something pulled out of. But anyway, I digress. It kept her from being that little wallflower she's been the last 2 episodes, even with all those little butterflies over. I'm so serious. Speaking of butterflies, it was interesting to hear how Team Vixen felt the other team had done, and possibly why they were in the bottom. I mean, I have to agree with Monet Exchange. I thought Team Vixen looked better on the runway, especially Ms. Cracker's little gold football fantasy armor number. That was delicious. All those gold curves and swerves with that blocked wig on her head. That was hilarious and fantastic. The only outfit on the Vixen's team I wasn't super excited about was the Vixen's number. No offense to her, but I think in a room full of fabulous butterflies and beads and all that, the Vixen's outfit came out a little costumey. If she had been on Team Asia, I think she would have stood out more. More's the pity, just saying. Maybe that's why she was getting all up in Aquaria's grill, suggesting that she wasn't long for the show, which is pretty big talk against someone who's not even in the room. Wasn't she just attacking Aquaria last week for the same thing? And here's the thing. You know, I don't understand why she thinks Aquaria is short-lived. I mean, I do understand, but here's the thing. In the Farmarusical, did you see the splits that Aquaria did? And here's the thing. It wasn't just that she did the splits, and it wasn't just that she did a spin turn into the splits. It was after she landed. She landed it, and then she had her head tilt. This head tilt. Look at that. It totally says, follow that, bitches. That's not the face of somebody who's leaving next week, I am just saying. Personally, I think that the Vixen is just a little bitter over the fact that Aquaria wouldn't rise to her verbal challenge and spar with her after last week's elimination. Just walking away from the Vixen, apparently, pisses her right off. So keep that in your back pocket if you need the upper hand, is all I'm saying. So it wasn't too much longer after that the losing team entered the Untucked lounge, and you could tell by Dusty's strut that she wasn't mad about her critique. Just saying. In fact, I think it was a bit of a slap in the face for a couple of people that she said that if her team hadn't lost, she would have won instead of the Vixen. And there was that moment there where the Vixen's head, I thought, oh, here it comes, let's all just brace ourselves. And it seems to me that that's what the editors wanted too, some big reaction. I was more interested in the reaction of the rest of her team. You would have won, you know. I just see who thought she did well and who didn't. But it didn't happen that way. I think the editors didn't have enough footage to make a mountain out of a molehill. So everyone just seemed to move on after that little brief little, Poor editors. They try so hard. What people did have a problem with was Asia. She felt that the other team had easier numbers and easier choreography. And poor Blair St. Clair trying to quantify the whole situation for Asia, which of course isn't what Asia needed to hear right then and there. The other thing she didn't need to hear was Blair St. Clair cutting her off, which is ironic because she cut Blair St. Clair off to tell her not to cut her off. She's crazy. Of course, that drama was quickly kicked to the curb by Calorie, who was clearly upset over being unforgettable in the Rusical. But after her tears and her subtle dissing of the New Mexico drag scene, she seemed to remember that the cameras were rolling and that she was going to have to return to New Mexico at some time. So she pulled it together. Unfortunately, Calorie's little emotional outburst seemed to upset Eureka, enough so that she had to leave the room. And I just need to say, for the emotional roller coaster that Eureka had been on for the last couple of days, I totally understand. But how sweet was Mayhem Miller, eh? Seriously, giving her support. And if you're standing next to somebody who's going to cuss you out just like your mama, that's a friend for life. I am so serious. Here's to Mayhem Miller. You know, more drag bars need queens like you, Mayhem, because there's a lot more tears going on there than people think, just saying. Of course, I think it's fabulous to point out that all of the drama so far on Untucked, none of it was caused by the vixen. In fact, I have to say I was also impressed with how supportive she was. She came out to support mostly Calorie, but you know, Eureka was in her line of fire, is all I'm saying. Eureka got a little support from her too, but again, it's too much for Eureka. I thought it was odd, that little statement where none of these people want to hear what I have to say. But she forgets that as much drama as she's feeling, everybody's drama is equal. This is why Monique had that little emotional outburst. I think that she got to a point, watching everyone there, that she either started thinking about what it'll be like to see all this on camera after they filmed it, and that made her start thinking about her mama. Or she started realizing, none of these cameras are pointed at me. I gotta do something. And I'm not disparaging what she said, because she brought up a really big point. That whole you can't be black and gay is a huge issue for a lot of people. Not just families and not just communities, but like environments. I really feel for her, especially because I think that Monique is one of the most lovely people. I love how over animated she is. I love how loud she is. She is so quick to smile and laugh and so quick to call out somebody else's BS. And I just love her. I would sit next to her at a party. I would go on a road trip with Monique. Not a long one, but I would. I think that she is that great. So here's a cheers to Monique. I wasn't understanding of her little emotional outbreak at the beginning, but when it was all said and done in the end, yeah, girl, that's gonna be tough. I hope that as you're sitting there now, and this is all airing, that your family realizes you a superstar, baby. Seriously. So, after one more dig at Monique's sponge dress from last week, is that going to be our first this year? Is that everyone sponges for everyone? You have no problem, rip a piece of your dress off and deal with it? I don't have a problem with that. I just think that's hilarious. But the girls had to return to the runway, and the inevitable sashaying of Calorie Kardashian Williams. God bless her. And can I just say, I hate packing at the best of times. Even just going away for a weekend, packing just is too much for my head sometimes. So I couldn't imagine having to pack up all that drag. If I had to pack up all that drag, I'd have been crying like Calorie too, is all I'm saying. And can I just say, what the hell was that gorgeous pink sequin nude fantasy number right there? That was way better than that ugly black onesie she wore. Not that it was ugly, it just was lackluster, especially in a room full of onesies, if you know what I'm saying. I think the only thing that set that jumpsuit off were those crystal gloves she was wearing, which are possibly a huge hit in New Mexico, but nobody at Drag Race seemed to care. Well, there it is. Calorie is all packed up and sashaying back to New Mexico. There are 12 girls left. Who do you think's gonna be next? If Eureka can't pull it together, but I feel she will, she could be in trouble. I was going to say Cameron is one of those people who's been kind of hovering in the background, but this week was a good week for her, so who's to say? we're just gonna have to tune in to RuPaul's Drag Race next week to find out. Don't forget to tune in to see me during the commercial breaks, because I'll be broadcasting live from Wilma Bar and Lounge, 996 Queen Street East in Toronto, Canada. Seriously, next time you're planning a trip to Toronto, put Wilma on your itinerary. You heard me. So, until next week, keep it untucked as long as you can, and then come on back and see me so we can compare notes. Till then, miss me and have a gentle day. Mwah! Seriously. This is really more bourbon than tea, isn't it, Jorge? It's probably why I'm so relaxed. Seriously. Oh.